usually people ask me, who is more beautiful, Russian woman or French woman? The giant topic each time it's feminism. Like, oh, is it French woman feminist? Women should have baby before 25. And suddenly she become your wife. In Europe, you do 50-50. It's not like this in Russia. Something in Russian woman, they're beautiful.
Okay. Today we are with Mr. Matthieu.
Hello.
Let's get straight into it. I'd like to ask you to give us a self-introduction.
A self-introduction. First of all, thank you very much, Handy, for having me. As you can see, Handy is for the first time on the camera. I'm very glad I put you outside of your comfort zone. I feel like I'm disrupted it a little bit. I'm very sorry about this. But
that's all right.
Okay, if it's all right. So my name is Matthieu Leduc. I'm a French immigrant in Moscow. I live here since 9 years. I work in education. I work with kids. I'm a nanny, French nanny. This is my main activity, and on the side, I'm a stand-up comedian.
Ah, nice.
So I started English stand-up like 4 years ago. Then 2 years ago, I started French stand-up. I created French stand-up in Moscow, and 1 year ago, I started Russian. No, okay, more than 1 year. I started to perform in Russian language.
Okay.
So now I'm a 3-language comedian.
Okay, so you have the show in 3 different languages, or is it like a separate one, or is it the same show?
It's a separate show. It's separated show. For French and English, I'm producing the shows.
Yes.
It's not just me. It's not Solnik. It's not just me. It's usually I invite like 5-10 comedians.
Yes.
And in French and English. In Russian, I'm not producing. I'm just a guest, like everybody. I started with 5 minutes, then I asked for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm slowly progressing, but it's not mixed language. It's one show, one language all the time.
Oh, that's amazing. It must be difficult to speak 3 different languages. I mean, how does your set go? Do you prepare, or do you just freestyle?
Of course. No, man. Stand up, no freestyle. Freestyle is a kind of mistake you do when you start stand up. You're overconfident and you think you can freestyle.
I try stand up.
You
disaster.
Man, you try again. Okay. We write together if you want. You must try again. We need guys.
We need you first. I'm gonna try stand up again.
Of course, man. So I don't know where you tried, but we will make it right. No freestyling. Even when you crowd work, when you speak with a crowd,
yes,
it looks like in freestyle, but if you have a lot of experience, it's not freestyle because you have already like million of answers in your head.
Yes.
And so when people react, when someone says something, you react to this, so people think it's authentic.
Yes.
It's authentic, but this reaction, you had it like yesterday,
so
2
you already
days
planned
ago.
this out.
No, it's not planned, but you have a catalog of reactions.
Yes.
So for any when you think it's improvised, usually people think it's improvised. Like someone in the audience says something and you answer immediately something super funny.
Yes.
And people are like, "Oh, he's genius." It's not genius. It's just I spend my day.
Preparation.
I spend my evenings on this stage, and I met guys like you like 10 times per week. So when you say something,
yes,
I have something back to say because it's a routine already. So no, anyway, I don't want to spoil the moment. Interaction with audience, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But the more you prepare it, the better it is. So freestyling is, I think it's a legend. If you freestyle too much, it's not so funny. So anyway, yeah, I come prepared to every show.
That's good. I mean, preparation is very important. But before even delving deep into the comedic scene, I wanted to ask you, why Russia? Why Moscow? What brought you here?
It put me out of stand-up because I can talk about stand-up for hours.
Okay.
The thing is, I'm from France. I'm from a small city in France. I'm not from Paris.
Yeah.
Usually I say I'm from Bordeaux, which is not true. I'm not from Bordeaux.
So you lied to
I'm
me.
a liar. I'm from Bordeaux region. Bordeaux. So it's a small city close to Bordeaux. It's called Limoges, and it's nowhere basically. It's in France. The name of my native city is a joke. Yeah, it means you're fired. We turn. I'm not, man. I don't have time to go on detail about this, but the name of the city become a verb.
Yes.
And it means being fired. The city is
really?
reputed to be so boring. So when you move there, it means you're fired. Like it's like a punishment to go in this city.
Exile?
It's something like this.
Okay.
And so the name of the city is Limoges, and in French, limoger, it's a verb who means being fired. But anyway, so I'm from this city. Then I moved to Bordeaux, of course.
Yes.
I moved to biggest and biggest city, and so maybe I was already on this approach to move regularly, like every 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
I started this as a student, then my first job, then my second job. And in my student life, I had a master degree in international business school. So international business school is a school you pay a lot to be there.
That's my major too.
You did too?
Yeah. Okay.
That's why we are international. Look, we are international. Actually, this coffee can be anywhere in the world, but it's in Moscow. So that's how international we are.
There you go.
We can find the same coffee in Paris or everywhere we want, but anyway, we're in Moscow. No, the thing is, with this international business school, the mindset was to be a businessman abroad.
Yes.
I wanted to be an expat businessman. I had this ambition, I don't know, Shanghai, New York, London.
Yeah.
Not London, but something like fancy. So I grew up, but I made this diploma. I started my studies. I started to work with this ambition of international businessman.
Yes.
Don't ask me why. I mean, maybe it's costume, maybe it's the money, maybe it's the girls. I don't know. It was my ambition.
Okay.
And my first internship was actually in Paris, and my first job was in Paris, and my second job was in Paris, and everything was in Paris, and my clients were in Paris. I was traveling to meet my clients, and they were all in Paris. So anyway, I was stuck in France.
Yes.
Which is amazing. No complaining. If I say something different, I'm wrong. France is amazing, but I don't know. I grew up with this ambition of being an international guy, and I was stuck in France. Of course, Paris is very convenient because when you want to go to holidays, you can be everywhere in Europe in a few hours by plane. So this is amazing. But I didn't want to be a traveler. I wanted to be an expat. I don't know. I had this. I have this mind. I wanted to live abroad. I don't know why. I love France, but I thought I would feel more complete if I try a different culture. And after many years in France, I had the opportunity to travel in Russia a few times. And all my I met many Russian people here and in France as well. And the more I was traveling here like a tourist, the more something was wrong for them. They look at me like, why you come here again? Like, Matthieu, you've been in Moscow once, you've been in Moscow twice.
So not even keeping count.
Yeah, like you go in St. Petersburg and again, and you even visited Kazan. Like, as a tourist, it was very weird for them. So that's me like, why you want to live here? And for me, it was not even an option because it was during the crisis.
Yes.
It was gas crisis. So the economy, the rate between euro and ruble was very bad. So basically, all the expats in Moscow was coming back. They was coming back to France. The golden era of expat management coming here. Every American or French or every expat, international company in Moscow had a management based on local on expats.
Yes.
And this was over. All the French guy, for example, they was coming back to France because the salary was not, the company was not able to level up the salary to follow the crisis. But anyway, so I came here because a kindergarten offered me a job.
Ah, okay.
And I just met them once. I was traveling and I met some guys of the staff, and they made me meet the director. And then I did one day trying in the school during my holidays. I was still a business manager in France, and during my holidays I moved to Moscow, and one kindergarten invited me to play with kids during the day, and then they offered me the job. So I decided to try. I wanted to give a try because I said about being outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
For me, it was the ultimate outside of my comfort zone. Like,
I see.
Try to live in Russia 1 year. The idea was to try 1 year, and even actually, to be honest, I still had my apartment in Paris.
Oh, really? It's still there?
And my job was still okay. So when I moved to Russia, it was really a no. In my head, it was a no risk. Like I was like, if something goes wrong,
I just go back.
I just go back.
Exactly.
I had the plan B. No, actually, I had the plan A. Russia was my plan B already. You know? So I was able. I felt like I have a choice at any second. I can go back, and I arrived to Moscow, and I felt into a storm of work, but a lot of parties. And a lot of friends and meeting people and living here. The first year, I will not say I was hangover every day, but the first year it was a storm. Like the time changed, and I didn't even realize I was since 1 year in Moscow.
Oh my goodness!
My first year, my first year in Moscow was so intense that after 1 year, the director of this kindergarten, she asked me like, Matthieu, your working visa is almost over. What's going next? Like, do you want to stay? And when she asked me this, I realized already 1 year passed, and I was not ready for this because I was not even figuring like me coming back to France after 1 year and like, oh Matthieu, what did you learn? Drinking. I learned. I didn't learn. I mean, I knew some. I started to learn some Russian words. At this time in France, I was my business sphere was oil and gas and energy industry, like construction about energy, and so I thought learning Russian was. It was maybe my excuse to move to Russia. Like I will learn Russian and can be a business bonus to my skills. But my first year in Moscow, I learned almost nothing, and I had fun. Like I didn't want to come back already. Like it was too early, so I decided to stay a second year. And the second year, instead of working in a kindergarten, one family took me to work just for them.
Okay.
So it's not teaching anymore. It's more being a nanny for 1 or 2 kids. And of course, if it's a nice family, the salary is nice. You work with 1 kid, and the work condition can be very nice. Like you can have a driver. You work in a. And it's not the same. Like you have fun with kid. You just have to speak your native language.
Yes.
And the kid is you make some lessons, but not too much. That's just enough to make the kid feel comfortable and like having fun learning your language. And if the family is nice, it can be the best job ever. If the family is hard, I mean, if the relationship with the family is hard, I mean, you don't live with them, but you spend time in your office is the kitchen. Your office is the house you're working. So if the relationship is bad, your work can be a nightmare immediately. And it's not like office like you don't have boundaries like in office. Like if you're fired, it's not like you'll receive an email. Like if you're fired, if you're fired, the one driver will come and one bodyguard will put his hand on your shoulder and he say, okay, let's go. And you understand you're fired. You don't know if you will be killed or just, I mean, it's just the family boss said like he's out.
You're out of here.
And you're out of here. And no email, no thank you very much for your participation the last few. So it can be tough. I had one very hard experience. So the job can be the best one ever, and it can also be super tough.
Yes.
That's why when usually newcomers in Moscow, new expats, they want to do this. When they heard about this job and when they heard the salary, they're like, oh, I want to do the same. And usually they try, if they can, because it's hard to go to this kind of job without experience with children. If you never worked with children, usually the family will not trust you. I think 1 year in kindergarten is the minimum. And the people who try to do this job because they are attracted by salary, usually they do it like 4 months or 1 month and they get fired or they have a fight with the family. Nothing prepare you to work in a family environment thing. Like no business school prepare you, no life school prepare you to work as an employee in a family where you have to behave like you're a friend, but you're a paid friend. You know what I mean? Like
that's weird.
Yeah. So when someone invites you for dinner, for example, in this, oh, you will stay for dinner. You have to immediately think, okay, I don't want to stay for dinner. Or maybe you want to stay for dinner because the atmosphere is nice, the family is nice, but you have to put all the layers together. Like, okay, I want, I don't want, they don't want. It would be accepted. It would be socially okay. It would be awkward. It would be creepy. Should I stay? And even if you cannot stay, you have to find a nice way to explain. You have to find a nice, not too personal, because you have to keep boundaries still. But each time you need to adapt. Anyway, so working in a family environment is very hard. It's much harder than you think. I thought it's harder than everybody can expect, and that's why when it works for many years, it's a blessing. It's when it works well. Now I work with the same family since 4 years, for example, and when people ask me why I'm still in Russia, I think it's mostly because my job is going so well. I don't want to leave this. I feel this job like it's a crazy opportunity. I feel like it's a wave I'm surfing.
Yes.
And I want to enjoy this wave until the last drop of water. I think I'm lucky to have this job. I'm lucky the connection went well.
Yes.
It's a very nice people. Like they are really. It's a pleasure to meet them every day. And I hope, I mean, if I work for them for 4 years, I guess maybe the feeling is mutual. So I think, my job for now, it's going so well. I think I cannot leave. I cannot put across. I cannot stop this job. I will feel so bad if I renounce to enjoying this job much. So I think I will try to keep this. I will keep this job as long as possible. And one day when it will finish, I will see. But before, I want to enjoy it as much as possible. I'm traveling, like almost every month. I'm traveling somewhere. When I travel, I do stand up.
Yes.
So everything is connected to each other. My schedule is. I'm lucky now. I can manage my schedule because it's another guy working with me. So he is flexible, so we can manage. And like this, each time I have a show somewhere, I ask him, and he's working. I'm off, and then we change. Like this, I can do my show. I'm touring in Russia, and just thanks to this amazing job. When people ask me why I moved to Russia, the first answer is I wanted to be an abroad businessman, something blah blah blah.
Yes.
Then, of course, there is a cliche of moving to Russia for a woman, Russian woman.
Was that your situation?
You know, man, it's 9 years I'm here, and I think it took me 9 years to arrive to finally be honest with me. because for 9 years I was judging people. I was judging every guy is coming to Russia. Like, oh, one more guy coming just for women, and I was judging them. And I think sometimes you have to be honest. And I think, of course, it's a giant thing. You don't even if it's not just okay. Maybe if we take a little bit of distance of it, let's say it's not about women. It's about perspective of people looking at you like,
yes.
Oh, where are you from? Like, you are somewhere, and people looking at you and they like, where are you from?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not about attracting. It's not about relationship. It's about people giving a special attention to you immediately, and of course, I mean, I think it's human. It's a human behavior. Like this extra attention you get, it's pleasant. I mean,
yes.
It depends. Sometimes it can be boring, but
okay. So yes, people moving to Russia for women. I would say that I'm one of them because, my wife is Russian. She's truly the only reason I would come. I mean, it never popped into my mind.
Okay.
Oh yes, I'm coming to Russia. But when I came, I was like, wow, there's actually a lot more that draws me to this place. Mm-hmm. But on that topic of dating, relationships, etc., you've been here for at least 9 years, right? What is the dating scene like? Because you told me right now you're in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
But before, is there like any difference between French women and Russian women? What are the differences? How do you maneuver?
It's tough because in one hand, I think you need to. I mean, nobody need nothing, but it's interesting to consider everyone individually and not to put etiquette on people. Like,
yes, of course.
Oh, you're French, or you're Russian. And, I think it's important to consider every person like as a human being, like individual human being, and people are happy that you try to discover them without filter. And I think it's important not to put stickers on people.
Exactly. Yes.
This one thing. Of course, the social standards are different.
Also,
for example, something I learned with years is there's not. I think it's wrong to approach a new culture with your culture and putting them together and start to judge what's better where.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's a bad idea.
There's a culture. You're here. It's important to see it, and of course you can have your own idea on it. You can have your own approach. You can bring a little bit of your own culture.
Of course.
But you cannot just judge
somebody based on your own culture.
You cannot even judge a culture like, okay, the giant topic each time it's feminism. Like, is it French woman feminist? Women should have baby before 25. And people throw a lot of nonsense. Oh, very very sensitive thing. Like you have a lot of facts thrown on the table, and I think every detail have a reason, and the reason is coming from super far away.
Yes.
Like if someone comes with something, for this person this is obvious. She will tell you something like, men should I don't know, the man should be the king and the woman is just on his shoulder, and she's a plus one, beautiful plus one something. If someone no, let's say something more obvious, like
this is I lived in China for at least 7 years, and this is a very common thing.
You have someone coming that way. I'm 24 and you know the time is clocking, and it's time for children because then I will be too old. Is this person think like this? It's not out of nowhere. It means
it's a cultural, social thing.
Yeah, so it means a family think this. It means in the region where this person is from, it's like this, and you cannot just you cannot just put this person under the bus and say like, you live in Moscow, you have a senior position in a company.
Yes.
You cannot just tell this person like, hey, grew up, like, come on, of course not 25, it's too early. You can even whatever you said, even if what you said it's an evidence for you, it's obvious.
Exactly.
You can prove by A plus B that, come on, we are in 2024, like, wake up, you're
Exactly,
25.
yeah.
But even if you say everything's for you, it's so true, this person, she's not, every information you will throw her, she have a different filter. And you cannot change someone, you cannot change a culture into someone like this. Doesn't matter, nobody's wrong, nobody's right.
Right, yeah.
But people are not changing like this because they saw family and the generation of one structure. You cannot just change people like this. So about feminism, for example, of course in France we have a different perspective, but you cannot just expect people to change.
Just because you think a certain way.
After 1 hour conversation, even if you're so true, so right, so charismatic, you cannot just change people like this because you will not change the family, you will not change everything behind them.
Society, the whole country.
You will not. Russia is evolving very fast, especially Moscow. Moscow is changing so fast. But anyway, culture is a wave you have to surf as well. Like you have to adapt to people, and it's interesting to understand why they think like this. But something I learned in the dating experience is you have to get more rich from other culture, but you should not try to depress anything people consider like for culture, for granted. You can judge it for you, you can think, you can appreciate it, but you should not come with
your own agenda and try to push it.
Yeah, don't push people agenda. Maybe sometimes it will make it hard to match. For example, I know I had few times the beginning of relationship when suddenly the girl decide to be a home woman, like. She dates you, and suddenly she sits in your apartment, she cook for you, and she and suddenly she become your wife, like
it's like an automatic thing.
And she's like, oh, and she do everything nice for you, and she wait for you, and for example, she suddenly forget all her friends. She don't go outside anymore. She don't meet her friends. She forget all her hobby activities, and she decide herself to put in situation of housewife. For me, for example, this is a very big it's hard for me to adapt to this because I
You like your space?
It's not about my space. I like sharing my space, but I like the person being herself and having a life. And like this in the evening when we met, I like to listen someone else speaking about how the day was.
Exactly, yeah.
For me, it's hard if I feel like someone is waiting for me at home all day. At the evening, it's me coming, and I speak a lot already. I speak too much, so I don't want me.
Perfect for an interview.
Thank you, but when I come home, I don't want to be just me speaking again and someone listening to me. I want to listen something. I want to share. I like the idea of two people completing each other, and some with different job, can be different hobby, different sports, different perspective. But I like when two people complete each other. And in my culture, for me, I don't know, in my culture it's a big word. I don't know all French people. I will not pretend I'm representing all French culture, but I think we think like many people mixed feminism and it's a lot of mix and misunderstanding. We like independent people.
Yes.
I'm not talking about politics, but in general, we like the idea of being independent, and we like the beauty of someone free next to you. This person have his or her own life, and you have your own life, and those two lives are completing each other.
Yes.
And that it's two rich subject of talking every day. It's too rich subject of learning from each other. And the idea of someone being you plus one, coming on your shoulder, the trophy wife, or or even the trophy husband, I don't know, but just
I mean, it happens.
yeah, it probably happened, but the idea of someone just being less independent, I think it's, for me, I feel it's spoiling a little bit. So it was one of the biggest cultural thing. When we talk about usually people think like French people, oh, you're used to do 50-50, you know. One of the biggest cliche is, oh, in Europe you do 50-50. It's not like this in Russia.
Okay.
Usually for this was maybe the easiest part to adapt for me.
Ah, okay.
Because in France, even before I knew I lived in Russia, I didn't even think about Russia, but in my idea, when you invite someone somewhere, doesn't matter who this person is. It can be your mom, it can be your best friend, it can be your father, it can be your girlfriend. If you invite someone, it's your idea.
You pay.
You will not invite someone, choose a place and put this person in the situation with, at the end, this person will have to share the bill of a place you choose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe you choose McDonald's, but maybe you choose a super expensive restaurant. This person accepts your invitation, and just this person just put her wallet in your hand, like, okay, I don't know where we're going, but I will pay half. Nobody. I mean, when you invite someone, it's and even I with my best friend, I have some very good friends in childhood, and I know the pleasure is it when the bill is coming on table, and the pleasure is it to say, hey, today it's on me, like, and
it just comes naturally.
It comes natural, and okay, maybe one day it's on you, it can change, but please, I hate the moment when you have to count, and it's not. I'm still not talking about relationship with women. I'm talking about relationship in general.
Just general, yeah.
It's a pleasure not to care about it. I work hard. I work hard every day for this moment to not happen, like to not having to care about the bill. Like,
exactly.
I don't mean like I'm not Gatsby, but I mean I chose a place. I know where we are. I know what we order. I know how much it costs in general. So I don't. At the end, I don't need to count second time. Oh, you took salad. I didn't took salad. How much
you know
share?
The place already. You're not panicking.
I mean, I know how much I will spend. Before I invited you, I know I have the budget. If I didn't have the budget, I invite you home and we have coffee at my place. If I invite you somewhere, it means it's I can do it. It's planned. So I don't like to put this bill thing on the man and woman relationship. I think the inviting process, it's not about a couple relationship or dating. It's about the pleasure to invite someone to your place or to a restaurant, but you invite, so it's your responsibility of what happened at the end of the bill. This was the easiest thing to overcome, the sharing bill thing. But the reality is, you date someone, it's a woman. She's probably younger than you. She's probably don't have the same position as you. You have bigger budget. I mean, when I knew it's only few times in my life when I dated someone who had more money than me. I don't mean like I'm super rich, but considering the social circle I have, considering
it makes it easier when you make more.
It makes easier, and you have higher chance as a man to meet someone who have less budget than you. So if I meet anyone who have less money than me, I don't want this person to have to care about the bill. I'm working. I'm every day I'm sweating for this moment to cover someone's needs and say, okay,
yes,
we will spend time together. I invite you somewhere. It's on me. Like, if you make shitload of money, good for you. You want to pay, we can talk about this.
Yeah.
But as long as you are not comfortable, that level of comfortable with money, I am. So let's do it comfortably. I want. And one more time, this money thing, I think it's every date. Not every date, but really regularly when you meet someone, this question is, people circle around this question like, oh, is it true in France you do 50-50? And this question is coming very slowly. The money thing is coming very slowly.
Yeah.
So I already, my mind is all made about this already, but it's a very big topic. Everybody talk about this, or want to talk about this all the time. The money thing. I don't think you should use money as a thing to attract people, but I think if you work enough to be comfortable with it, I think it's nice feeling to share this comfort with people around you. Doesn't matter who is it.
Okay, I have two more questions. The first question I have to ask, I want to ask about quirks. So generally you said it depends on the individual, right? Russian people, French people are different. But is there like a certain thing that you've noticed amongst Russian women that is different, that you like, or a general thing that just pops up continuously?
The thing will pop up regularly. If it pop up regularly, it means it's less individual. So I'm mostly ready to dislike it. I like when things come individually, like not like a group thing.
Oh, okay.
If something pop up like 5 times in a row, you're like, again,
okay.
You're the man, you're more important. I'm just a woman thing. It's not something it's not a position I like if it's established like this. Like this is something I'm mostly able to dislike. Of course, something I like. I like everything, but I don't like. I like everything when it's coming from people, not when it's coming from culture. It's not something if we talk about just Russia, something in Russian women. They're beautiful.
Okay.
They are beautiful. Amazing. Fortunately for us, and unfortunately for them, I think the Russian society makes the beauty a very big challenge. Like the social pressure.
You have to be good looking.
For women, it's crazy. And men just have to be a man. Like, doesn't matter how you look. It's crazy. Of course, it matters how you look.
Yeah,
of course it matters. But for men as well. But for women, the social pressure is so big of being beautiful. You see on TV, you see on everywhere, and in the street, you have some supermodel passing by you every time, and the pressure it's so big. So of course they feel the women in Russia. I think they feel challenged every second. So. Cosmetic, workouts, everything to be always the best version of yourself physically. I think it's so much. I will tell you, not a secret, but usually people ask me who is more beautiful, Russian woman or French woman. It's this kind of cliche. Of course, everybody had this idea and I had this question many of times. I think the pressure on Russian women is so strong that in the 20, 30 years old, they will put so much effort to be at the top game, so they look fantastic.
Yes.
There's one nuances is French women, they're more relaxed about this. And I think when they are 40 or 50 or 30, the French women are more assumed and they appreciate themselves how they are. And this self-confidence give a really interesting charm. The charm when you're 40 and you know who you are and you love yourself, and this charm is a beauty as well. And usually to have this, you need to accept yourself.
Yes.
And if you it's hard to accept yourself how you are when you took 10 years of your life to make you a better version of when you put so much effort to be better. It's hard to find who you really are, because you think you are the top version of yourself. And I think you can It's something I don't like to say who is more beautiful, like French, Russian. My family is French, so if I say Russian women are more beautiful, what I'm telling about my mom and my sister, I cannot say like Russian women are more beautiful. Of course they look fantastic, of course. But my mom and my sister are charming too. I cannot tell they are less beautiful than Russian women. Okay, I think important is beauty is not only about how much you put yourself into sports, into cosmetic, everything. It's also something inside. How much you love yourself and you appreciate yourself as a person, and how much comfortable you are. And this is something more often you can find on French people. I think the beauty pressure destroy people from inside. Like they playing this game of being beautiful so many years, and at some point they just give it's too much, and when they see like, oh, I'm not in the beauty standard anymore, and it breaks the self-confidence, and it can be something very sad to see, like someone who used to be in the game, if I can say, like be in the game, like someone who try to be sexy, beautiful so many years, and suddenly they understand like, oh, I'm 35, it will be harder for me now, and suddenly the self-confidence is vanishing. And I think it's something very sad. Of course, in Russia, I appreciate all this effort, but I think it's killing a little bit of natural beauty that is very important for everyone.
I see. Very good point. I just want you to sum this up in one sentence. If a French person wanted to come to Russia right now, in one sentence, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I have this a lot because many French people text me. I think in one sentence it will be hard, but moving abroad from your place, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter where you're going, it's hard. It's a very hard move to move.
Yes.
So I think it's important. When I told you at the beginning, like I was judging guys who said they moved to Russia for women.
Yes.
I think it's a judging, and it's also a lot of caring. I think it's very dangerous to move for someone because you put your life on the responsibility of someone else. If the relationship go wrong, what you do? You come back to your place? I mean, like, it means you put something in a relationship. We already disbalance the relationship. Like, I'm here for you. I move from one country to another one just for you. So we can break up just like this. And I think, unfortunately, this put a lot of disbalance in a relationship, and it makes the relationship very hard to be healthy, because you just I came for you. So you know how much of you understand how much is it for someone. You wake up and you say, oh, this guy is 4,000 kilometers for his family just for me, and every morning, and if you start to have an argument or something go wrong, the atmosphere is not so, and you're like, and what, I go home right now? It's a lot. I think in one sentence, you should move for yourself, not for someone. You should move in a place you want to discover, but you should move for your own reason. You are a better person in a relationship when you already are in peace with yourself.
Exactly. And
you are in peace with yourself, where the place you are is your place you want to be by yourself. If you are in a place for many years because of someone, and you start to have a hard relationship with a place, it's hard to have a healthy relationship with Russia. Russia is, it's what, and I told this right now, 3 years ago it was already like this, even now it's harder. It's complicated, it's very hard, you have to understand the culture, you have to appreciate, judge but not judge too much. So Russia is already a relationship. Just keep this relationship with the country you move. You have your own relationship with a girlfriend, but don't put one relationship responsible of the other one. Move to a country you like, live with someone you like, but don't put responsibility on top of each other. You don't choose your girlfriend because of the place. You don't choose the place because of your girlfriend.
Exactly.
You have to choose what you really feel comfortable with, and not put responsibility on things. Responsibility is on you. You move for you. If you like where you move, you will be happy and you will bring this amazing feeling to a relationship. But don't move for someone. I think it's a very big mistake.
Yeah, that's pretty much a very good point. The same thing when I moved here, our family kept on saying, "Are you sure you're okay with being here? Are you fine? Do you like it here? Are you sure you don't want to go back? Do you want to move somewhere else?"
Yeah.
Because they also knew that it's like a different experience. You move to a completely different place. Fortunately, I feel more comfortable here. So that's a
Okay.
nice combination, but that's a very good point. You know, like you also need to be comfortable because I mean, you don't want to be miserable.
Sometimes the family thing is the family. It's so a part of you so big that the place where you are
Yes.
is just adjustment.
Yeah.
This is a different construction. This is a very strong statement. It means the family is your main. It's your spine.
Exactly.
And the place you are is it's designed around the spine. It's just decoration. If it's this situation, like if I understand, Russia, it's one of the more difficult background for this. So your spine family should be the love of your life. It should be so strong. Like this is love. To answer, move for yourself. If yourself is family, move for yourself. But the most important is the link between move for the good reason, because moving it's so hard.
Yes.
If you check statistic of people moving abroad, like when people have choice, usually they come back home. Like in, I don't want to say wrong statistic. So in so high percentage, I think in most of the case, people move somewhere, few months, few years, and if they can, they come back. Coming back home is a very, everybody talk about the nice story of someone moving abroad and having his best life. Many people come back home because you getting far away, it's very hard. It's a very hard feeling after a few years. For me, for example, I have the comfort, the material comfort to be able to fly to France regularly. I'm coming back to France regularly. If I was just stuck in Russia like 8 years without traveling, I don't know if my feeling will be the same. So I don't want to give like misconception of how easy to move abroad. I don't want to be responsible of someone who say, "Oh, I saw a guy, he look happy in Russia, I will move to Russia." You must be happy where you are, for who you are, and then the moving, it's a second thing. But be yourself, take care of yourself first, and then choose a background where this yourself thing is going. But the most important is not where you are. The most important is your relationship with yourself and what you commit to. If you commit to work, if you commit to family, this is the key relationship you need to care about before the place you go.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. So you have a YouTube channel. Where can people find you if it's not YouTube?
I also have a Telegram
Telegram
I'll
channel.
leave that in the link in the description. I also leave his links, some of his shows. If you're in Moscow, you can definitely come and see him.
Yeah, you know where I'm going. I'm talking about your promotion.
I just forgot about that part, yeah. So, yes, please.
Okay, YouTube, Telegram. Do you have a VK channel?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, do you have?
I don't yet. Actually, well, I have a page, but I just post my
We
photos.
underestimate VK. I'm not active on VK, but I think we need
I think I need to go on VK.
Yeah, you and me, we need to be more on VK. So if you follow him on YouTube, find him on
Instagram, Telegram. I'll leave all the links in the
and
description.
VK. And if he's not on VK, We'll create a VK page for
You
you.
heard it here first.
Not Wikipedia, but VK.
All right.
Same for us. I mean, in Moscow, if you're in Russia, come to English stand-up show. It's not just me talking for 2 hours. We have a lot of guests, and I'm talking a lot right now because I don't need to make jokes, so it's very comfortable. Moscow English comedy events. You write it the way you want. It's not important. Just you will find English stand-up in Moscow. It's us. If you speak French stand-up in Moscow, it's called Le Mos Comedy. Just find me and then go to the Mos Comedy. If you speak Spanish, we have Spanish stand-up in Moscow once per month minimum. The guys are amazing. I'm not performing Spanish, but find them. And my name is Matthieu Leduc. And if you speak Russian and you don't know how to spell Matthieu Leduc, on Instagram I created a second page. It's called Mięsa po-francuski. It means French meat, but if you don't speak Russian, you don't get it. Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, once again, check the description. All the links, all the things that he has mentioned, I will put them down in the description. And thank you for being here. I'll see you guys next time.